go back and hit. I always go back and I put the names to the shows and stuff, just to have some fun with some of the titles. And I remember I had to look episode 25. We had an episode called Chitlins for Dinner. So we have discussed this topic before.
Yes, we have. We have. I remember I was like, we doing this again? It was prepping, I feel like, too, the last time.
It probably was. I mean, I brought it up just to basically say, hey, it is what it is. I think it's nasty, but if that's your thing, no big deal. But Previn is just like, I think he's been scarred, man. Because I think
right? I feel
I think he's been scarred.
I feel like they tried to waterboard him with chitlins or something. Like it's personal. It's personal. It's a situation.
Oh God.
I'm just saying.
He said he's been to parts of the world, people don't know the war is over. I was like, you better stop, because I know exactly what he's talking about. He needs to stop. He needs to stop. Oh man. Shoot, a lot going on, man. The last 48 hours.
Listen, it's a lot to unpack out here in these NFL streets.
Hey, look. I mean, we might as well just go ahead and start with Rod and this. I think we kind of called it, or we kind of started talking about it in that matter. I just didn't think it would actually happen, that they would actually fire this man. But it almost like it might have been mutual to a certain degree. What did you hear, Rod? Because I didn't do any more research. I mean, I've been doing stuff and I've just been seeing the highlights on ESPN, but I did see the message come across, but I'm sure you got a little bit more insight on it. What's the whole thing with you?
From what I understand, after the Titans game, Tepper either went into the locker room or was by the locker room and dropped the F-bomb. So when that was reported, then we knew it was going to be a Tepper Tuesday. Turns out it was a Tepper Monday. But song ain't changed and whatever, and I big up Lonnie's about this the other day and whatever. I'm gonna push back just a little bit, and the only reason I'm gonna push back is, like, okay, this is the new Dan Snyder. I don't know that Tepper is that bad and whatever, where he got, sexual assaults and whatever, but he's still a bad, until that man figures out, okay, well, you know what, maybe it's me, I'm the bad guy, maybe I need to step back and whatever. It's gonna be the same.
It's gonna be the same.
It's gonna be the same and whatever, because
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But it's gonna be the same. I didn't see the press conference today, but I got the highlights. So right before I logged on, I was listening to a group of Panthers fans. They hold spaces like during halftime and whatever of the games and after the games. From what I gathered, it was just a 10-minute presser. And dude was like, well, I bought you colored Beyonce. I bought Messi here for the cultured folks, so you can have soccer. Everything about what's going on with the football team. As long as the revenue comes in, Tepper don't care. Okay. You let it get out that you talk about, well, hey, we got Bryce. We can go cheap on the wide receivers. Sir, where? How is Bryce going to throw the ball, catch the ball, block for himself, and score touchdowns?
Right.
I'm not, the smartest guy in the room, but I'd like to think I know a little something about football. But from what I gather, that press conference was a hot mess, and folks are despondent. And I see online where we joke and whatever. Then folks are like, okay, well, we still support my team. You can support them, but again, I can't support foolishness purposely. You know what I'm saying? And you going in there purposely like, okay, well, hey, I'm gonna put Bryce out here. I'm gonna put the smallest quarterback in the league, no line, and pray that he don't get hurt. And that's what we're gonna do for 17 games. And I'm all
the interesting thing is about that, and it's just this whole new NFL, I guess, perspective about you draft these quarterbacks high and everything. Mm-hmm. They didn't even have to play them this year.
They didn't.
That's the whole funny thing about this whole thing for me. They didn't even have to play them this year. They could have literally just let them sit and watch and say and fall back and say, we don't have the offensive line. We don't have the weapons. So we're not going to see what this kid can really do this year anyway.
They could have said that at any point this year and said, okay, well, you know what? Why are we going to get our franchise killed like this? Let's go ahead and sit him down. Bring out Andy Dalton.
Poor Frank Reich looked like he about. They say what he looked like he aged about 10 years and 8 and 10 games or something like that.
Yeah, he does. Frank Reich looks old in the mud right now. I was like, Jesus, that man looked aged, like he done ran the country or something. But here's the thing, and the reason why I called him the new Dan Snyder is not because I believe he's got any scandals or anything brewing in the bag.
I mean, he can have them. Let's bring him to the forefront right now.
But I don't know that to be true. You just want him to happen so he be gone. But I don't know that to be true. But the reason I say it is because Dan Snyder was a super fan of the Redskins when he purchased the team.
Yeah.
And every decision that he made was based off of emotion and fandom. And that's what Tepper is doing. Because he wants to win right now. And most fans do. They don't want to hear about a rebuild. They don't want to talk about a rebuild. Most of them don't even understand the X's and O's and the fact that you actually need an O-line and all of these things. Tepper is moving in that way. There have been six head coaches since he's bought the team. Sir, at a certain point, to quote Shannon Sharp, you have to drop anchor. You have to. You gotta hire
we were talking
somebody.
about the Texans the last few years. At one point, you gotta lean. You gotta drop.
Right. You gotta hire somebody and drop anchor and give them a chance to do the job you want them to do.
Yeah.
Because I get it. You're looking at the Texans. He's probably thinking McDaniels went to the Dolphins and turned, but they had pieces in place. You blew up the Panthers last season. Blew
and
it
the
up.
season before.
Like,
and the
season before.
But really, last year he blew it completely up. He got rid of his best wide receiver and his running back, and they hadn't had an O-line in about 4 years. So you completely blew it up last year so you could get the number one pick. You hired a guy who was actually good with young QBs, but then didn't allow him to pick the young QB he wanted. Because that's
and
the
tried
thing.
To cover that up today.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. Yeah. Frank Reich didn't want Bryce Young. He wanted C.J. Stroud. He had a choice, and he wanted C.J. Stroud. But to be fair to Panther fans listening, C.J. Stroud was not going to have the seasons he's having with the Texans in Carolina. He wasn't. He might have had 1 or 2 more wins. Maybe. But
I think he would have had that.
Right. I said maybe. We don't know. He could still be 1-10 if he had come to Carolina, because what he doesn't have here, the O-line. You got a good running back, but again, you don't have an O-line that can make a hole for anybody to get through.
You got actually 2 decent running backs, to be honest with you. Trevor Hubbard
right.
is not bad
but
either.
Again, nobody to make holes for them to get through.
Nope.
And you don't have a wide receiver. And so there are pieces you have to get in place. And then once you got the young QB, also word on the street is, even though it wasn't the one that Frank wanted, I'm here now, so we're going to work with him. We're going to get it together. Frank Reich didn't want to start Bryce this year either. Just like you said, Rob, you can sit him
and
let him learn.
That the kid, man.
And so, but Tepper's overruling everything because he's also said numerous times that he wants to be Jerry Jones.
Pete, what didn't I say that a couple weeks back? Did I not say
that? He's
that?
actually said that. He wants to be like Jerry Jones, come in and turn the franchise around and win multiple Super Bowls. Sir, you have got to let somebody do the job to get you there. Which one is put a team in place? All he keeps saying is we need a QB and we need a coach.
But see, here's the one thing. But let me say this. Here's the one thing I would say that people tend to forget about Jerry Jones in his early years. He actually picked some good damn talent. And he actually put together one of the biggest heists in the history of football when he got all those picks from Minnesota.
He did.
And turned all those picks into about 4 or 5 Hall of Famers.
He did. But guess
and what I'm saying is,
to?
you still got to be good enough to do the job. You can't just be like, I want to be like somebody. You actually got to have some ability and talent
But
Which he
also,
does
but
not
guess who
have.
he listened to when making those picks?
Right.
He listened to his head coach when making those picks.
He was listening to his coach. Yeah.
He finessed, he helped finesse and finagle the deal, but he also listened to his Hall of Fame coach that was like, listen, this is what I need to be successful. Yeah. And Jerry was like, bet, let me get you what you need to be successful. Yeah. Tepper doesn't want to hear all of that. Yeah, Tepper's like, I like this guy, and I'm gonna put these people together, and it's gonna work. And that's not.
And my wife said we need to draft such and such, so we got to do what my wife said.
Yes, because his wife is also involved.
His wife is in. Pete.
I didn't realize
my right hand to God.
His wife is also in the mix, helping make picks as well. Now, neither one of these people know anything about football.
Nothing. And then I'm not gonna put it all on Tepper though.
And the thing is, he made his billions from gambling on the stock market and being patient, waiting for the things to crash and build back up and finesse and all this money and moving pieces around on the chessboard. But it took patience to make the billions at what he was doing with the stock market to make his money. But you don't have no patience to let any coach do what they need to do. Now, don't get me wrong. You needed to fire Matt Rule because you should have never hired him. Don't take a page from the Eagles. We were the first team to hire a coach that had absolutely no coaching experience in the NFL. Chip Kelly. Guess how that worked out? Trizash. So when you decide to go hire Matt Rule, who has absolutely no experience in the NFL, be like, you know what? Philadelphia tried that. It didn't work for them. Maybe I should do something different. I don't know.
So I got a question and then I got a statement. So my question is, do you think that he is so impatient in making all these trash ass moves because he's trying to prove something to the Pittsburgh ownership? Because it's like, okay, well, hey, I told y'all to fire Tomlin. Y'all wouldn't do it. Y'all told me to go get my own team. I got my own team. So now I want to show y'all, okay, well, hey, my way was the right way. Had we have done what I wanted to do, then perhaps Pittsburgh would have number 7, number 8, number 9.
Well, to be clear, so far he's losing that fight.
Crystal clear. Losing that fight. But I'm just saying though, that's what I mean.
People have egos, right? And people, especially guys that you start their status out that are billionaire. They all have these certain egos about, the power and the decision making and all of that. And then they, some abuse it, some caress it, some nurture it, some actually make great decisions, and some abuse it. I mean, and we've seen, at least in sports, we've seen the results of franchises that have made, the billionaires have made good decisions. Like I said, the Cowboys haven't won in a long time, but they're always relevant. And that's because Jerry Jones knows what strings to pull. But at the same time, it's not like he still ain't been picking good talent. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
right.
It's kind of like you everybody gives them, gives Jerry a pass at times on the fact that, he did draft the Michael Parsons. He did draft Lawrence and all those guys, and CeeDee Lamb. But my point is with your boy in Charlotte, it's like you can try to be or try to prove all you want, but sometimes you just ain't got the juice. And so far, he ain't showing that he got the juice, and it don't. And I'm sure people, Pittsburgh and other organizations are glad he left, or glad he ain't.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, because I mean, when you got an owner or somebody that's trying to be the puppeteer and trying to make it all about them, it gets in the way. And we've seen this several times across the. I mean, the Commanders, the Washington football team, whoever the hell you want to call them. Once Dan Snyder started getting more and more involved, they started sucking. These guys don't know what they're doing, but they want the power. They're the billionaires, and we're gonna do all of this. So I don't know
and their fans on top of that, because that's the other thing. You can't. It's hard to own a team and be a fan of the team at the same time.
Good point.
Because again, you're absolutely going to make emotional decisions. That would be like me owning the Eagles. Mm-hmm. That's a bad look all day long. Because at a certain point,
you go screw some stuff up. You go screw some stuff up.
The game, and we 10 points down, and we should be.
She gonna be on the field.
I'm firing everybody.
I'm
walking
down the field.
And I'm walking to the field. I'm firing everybody because I don't understand why we're not using our running back.
And I'm probably going to end up a couple of people too.
I don't understand why we gotta wait until the second half to start playing football on offense. Like, somebody make it make sense. So I shouldn't own the Eagles because that's gonna end badly for me. So we'll never win again.
That wouldn't be a good look. That wouldn't be a good look at all. No,
right.
I don't want that for you.
You said you don't want that for me?
Nah, that's. It's actually kind of like with me, because I was with Pat McAfee said or something. I forgot what he said. Or he was saying something. But when Jeff Saturday got the job to go back to the Colts, he was a former player there and all that, but he was also a fan. So to your point, I don't know if he made any emotional decisions when he was coaching, but I know that was, to me, that was a little too close to home.
Right.
Listen,
right.
Like, you talk about
like, Jeff, you my boy though, but that's a little too close to home.
Look, you talk about repeating history. Greg Olson has thrown his name into the hat to be the next head coach. Trey Boston is on Twitter lobbying to be the next head coach.
Everybody gonna throw their name in. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be mad if you went ahead and let Harbaugh boy come back. I wouldn't be mad about it, because the one thing you can't sit here and say is that when he was coaching, he was coaching guys up. They were winning games, and
for sure.
And it wasn't like he was. He has a different way, but the Harbaughs have different ways of how they go about their culture. It's okay. They win. They were winning.
Right.
You don't have the first set of brothers coach against each other in Super Bowl history. That doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't happen. And it happened, because these guys can flat the hell out coach. They're good. So right. That might be one of your best bets, is let Michigan try to make this run, try to do whatever they're going to do, and then Harbaugh say, hey, release me and y'all cut me a check and I'll come down to Carolina. But to your point earlier, the other point, sign me for 5 years and let me stay. Let me sit here and let me figure it out. And
it's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen for 5 games. You talk about 5 games.
First of all, I don't think while I think Harbaugh would be a great fit here, team wise, with the players and so forth. Mm-hmm. He would never work with the owner, because that's why he didn't stay in San Fran. They didn't want to hear his opinion when he was trying to make personnel decisions and so forth.
I got you.
It was a tug of war back and forth constantly with him and ownership.
Yeah.
So we already know Tepper not going to keep his hand out the pot, and his wife is also going to be involved. And I can only imagine what Harbaugh will say to the wife. So I just feel like that. I don't want that for him.
So basically what's going to happen is that they're going to hire another coach, or either a coach with no experience that's going to bow down to the wishes, or they're going to hire someone that's desperately trying to get a job that has never got. And let's be real about it. From a minority standpoint, they're going to probably look at a minority and somebody's going to take it because they know, hey, ain't no other team going to give me a real shot, so maybe I can go down to Carolina and give a spark. So basically,
but I don't think.
But they're not going to hire. You're saying they're not going to hire somebody that has a certain cachet about them that's going to demand a little bit more. Hey, let me do my thing. Let me figure this thing out. It's going to be somebody that's got to be a puppet, basically. Is that what we're saying, or what we thinking?
Well, I don't think he's going to hire a minority, because again, he put 7 reallys in that book's name. So there's that.
Okay,
that's the thing with the Christmas card pictures. So no.
I got you. Okay, moving forward. Let's go.
Yeah, so I don't think that's gonna be a thing here in the Carolinas, with him as the owner. But I don't know who would fit that's gonna, because my thing is he needs a yes man. But
he surrounds himself with him.
He needs a yes man in order for him to be happy, so he can have the power and control. But you can't stick a yes man into a rebuild situation. So that's why I was like, the Panthers, like, he's the new Dan Snyder, and the Panthers are about to become the new Browns, because you can't keep hiring and firing coaches year after year after year and think somehow you're going to be successful. Because at a certain point, you got to let somebody actually complete the rebuild.
Oh well.
And that's the thing, like, because and I think part of his issue is part of the fans' problems. Like I had to, like in the beginning of the season, we had to have a conversation, and I was like, "Hey guys, y'all are in the rebuild, so you should anticipate losing more than you win in the midst of a rebuild." He doesn't want to accept. Maybe he doesn't know what a rebuild is because again, this isn't his world. It's not where he came from. But somebody should educate him on what a rebuild looks like.
I mean, I don't think it, I think that was early in the season. It was valid. It ain't nothing to talk about. You're 1-10. Like if that ain't the definition of a rebuild, I don't know what is. Like
you're and now 10. You're starting over because
you're not even being competitive in any of the games that you played in except the one you won. So.
And you weren't really competitive in that game.
I don't even remember who y'all beat.
They beat the Texans.
Houston.
They beat the Texans.
Oh, they mad. They looking back at that game like, what the hell? No, I'm
just kidding.
They are.
I'm just saying, like, huh?
They beat the Texans by like well, they beat them by a field goal.
It was a field goal, right?
It was
a field goal.
Yeah,
but it was a long field goal.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but the bottom line is, I mean, anyway, it's gonna probably get worse before it gets better. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It's gonna get worse before it gets. I mean, even Dan Orlovsky was like, regardless of what happens next year, don't evaluate Bryce next year, because regardless of what happens, he was like, there's not gonna be enough talent there to evaluate him next year. They was like, you won't get a real evaluation probably in 2025. I said, damn, Dan. He was like, he's telling the truth, though. He's telling the truth.
Where's the lie?
Right. I was going to say he's telling the truth. And it honestly might be longer than that. Because, again...
No, I'm going with Rod on that. If it's longer than that, he ain't going to be there. He's going to go somewhere else. Somebody going to snatch him.
I mean, if he's smart, he should ask somebody now.
He gonna
like, what can I do? Who's his agent? Sir, can I get up out of here? Where can I go?
Yeah, man. So, but...
Because it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yep. So proud of your Eagles, man. I like watching good football games. That was a real good football game. It's really hard sometimes to find a good football game, but that was a real good football game.
It's been hard a lot.
Real good football game.
Listen, I said a prayer for you because I was like, I know her pressure's sky high right about now.
Listen, well, and here's where it all went awry. Because
what happened?
Normally, my crew that I go watch the games with at the sports bar here, one of my guys, super level-headed, always calm during the whole game, regardless of what is going on. He'd be like, we're good. We got it. We're good. Calm down, relax. And so I'm able to take some deep breaths, and I'm not as stressed. I don't know what he was going through on Sunday, but his feng shui was off. so I was stressed the whole game. He was mad from when he got there like right after our first series, and he's like, we didn't win the toss because y'all said we went 3-and-out. We were like, no, they won we won the toss. We deferred. We got them 3-and-out, but then we went 3-and-out. He was like, why did we go 3-and-out? And I was like, because he came out and we threw the ball 3 straight times. And he was like, what are we? And I was like, we don't know, but you know. And in about 5 minutes later, we came back out and we throwing the ball again for no absolutely good reason. Sir, it's in the middle of a monsoon, Brian Johnson. Why are we throwing the ball? For who? For what? Run the ball. We got to stay to run it back. What are you doing? So he was aggravated from the beginning. So he was stressed. I'm stressed. Everybody at the table stressed.
Y'all spoiled. That's what it is. You ain't need.
No, we're not spoiled.
Y'all act like y'all was getting blown out or something.
This has been all season long. Like, because if you pay attention, like each game, after every single game that we have won, somebody on offense or somebody on defense, usually it's Jalen, like, we haven't played our best ball yet. Sir, it's week 12. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger on your best game. Let's go.
I want to comment on some of those cliche statements too, but keep going, because that's one of them. It's starting to be a pet peeve of mine.
Right, like, we haven't played our best ball yet. Well, you haven't played a complete game of football yet on offense. So, but I'm like, it's week 12. At this point, pull the trigger. And some folks are frustrated because they all on fire Brian Johnson. I do not want Brian Johnson fired.
See, Ryan, you see how this works? They trying to fire a coach, and they're 10-1. Y'all just fired.
I am not trying to fire the coach.
But my point is, that's what I'm saying. That's why people get annoyed with certain teams' fans. You're 10-1. Tell your people to calm the hell down.
10-1, but again, the frustration lies with we are starting so slow in the beginning of games.
It's called tape. It's called tape from last year.
But it's not, because he wasn't our OC last year.
But Denise,
he wasn't our OC last year.
But my point is, y'all saying that, but my point is, it's okay.
It's not. We can't keep spotting teams 10 points and expect to win a Super Bowl. And to be clear, that's the goal. Every move Howie made in the offseason was to run this back.
But you're not going to front run. You're not going to front and be in the front of every single game either. So
we don't need. Pete, how many games have we led this year?
At the end, 10. Because that's
No, but you said we can't front run. How many games? Because we're not even talking about. It's not even about front running, Pete. It's about, because I can live with. We go 3 and out a few times in the beginning, whatever. It's when we just out here calling bonehead plays, and it looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's absolutely no rhyme or reason to the play call. You just sending plays in and hoping they work. It doesn't make any sense. Then once we get to halftime, there's these halftime adjustments, and all of a sudden you come out and you're like, oh, okay, so now you're gonna use Swift. You didn't want to use him the first half? Because maybe we wouldn't have needed to go to overtime had we actually been using that dude at the beginning of the game. I don't know. Surprise me. Try it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing with the fact that you guys are playing slow. What I'm saying is, when I'm hearing people say, well, if we play like that, we're going to lose. No, if you play like that, you're going to win because you're resilient. You figure it out. Sometimes
we're resilient. We figure it out.
And that's what, and I'd rather have a team that can figure it out than to be a team that, okay, we got it right from the beginning. Sometimes I think you guys are okay. I guess that's all I'm saying. I think you guys.
Yeah, I think we're okay too. But again, here's the thing. As you go further into the season, and you know this, and as you get into the playoffs, once you get to the playoffs, there are no other weeks to figure it out. So what I don't want is that we make it through the entire season and we've yet to play a complete game of football on offense. And we run up on, because here's the reality. I'm going to just call it what it is. If we spot San Fran 10 to 14 points this week, I don't think we win that game. Because their defense, 5,000 times better than the Buffalo defense and 5,000 times better than the Chiefs defense. And I'm 10 toes down on that.
I don't disagree with that.
So, and that's my point.
But I still wouldn't bet. I still wouldn't count you out.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be screaming at the TV and I'm going to be yelling and there until the clock hits all zeros, whether we win or lose. However, listen, save me some energy and voice and strength. I'm gonna need my blood pressure to get through the whole season.
So Rod is selfish. She needs to save her. She got to save herself.
I'm trying not to die. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to die. I'm trying to make my 50th birthday. Okay.
Oh, fool.
That's all. I'm trying not to die. So I'm trying to make my 50th birthday.
Like I said, I'm not disagreeing. Everything can be true. I just know that sometimes I look at situations like there's different expectations on each level of teams that we see. The media can drive it, but I'm not even going with media driving different narratives and everything. I got a real Eagles fan right here. I got a real Carolina fan. I'm a Dolphins fan. And the realness of it is, you know your team better than probably anybody on the panel. I just know that looking at it as a fan of football and looking at it as what I've seen over the past years is that when teams have been successful, regardless, and I know they got new coaching and whatever, but there are teams that tend to struggle to get back to the Super Bowl And this is what it kind of looks like. Sometimes you're going to have to keep piecing it together because, again, when have we ever had my point is not only have a repeat Super Bowl champion, but we normally don't even get the same teams in the Super Bowl, right?
And don't get me wrong.
So that's why I said the way that they're winning games, like you say, San Francisco might be the one team that, you probably don't want to do that against. But
right,
I don't look at everybody keeps talking about Dallas and defense.
On one side.
Yeah, they're both keep beating up on Giants and Jets and Commanders. I'm not feeling. Their defense, whatever.
Right.
The San Francisco defense is probably the one defense you don't want to do that against because you will probably have a heart attack, and I would have to come to Charlotte and visit you and recovery and everything and
all of the things. Right. So that's all I'm saying. I got you. I got you. Can we start because again, I think Brian Johnson's a good OC. He absolutely has proof of that because his halftime adjustments are amazing, and he calls a fantastic game in the second half.
And you can watch the game and just see it. Like, you ain't even got to be, like, you ain't even tell it. Now, I'm watching the game like, oh, yeah, there's this guy named Devontae Smith. Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, run him behind. You're just watching the game like, yeah, he's pretty good. Like, throw it to him. Yeah, he's pretty good.
And you can feel it coming. But the frustration is, it's like, hey, these same dudes, they here in the first quarter, too. Like,
but I'm going to also give you this.
I think
this is the first game that Jalen's been healthy probably in the last 3 or 4 games too, because he's been running the ball, but he ran like they called the real plays you saw last year and earlier in the year. So I thought that was a big dynamic too. I mean, if there was ever 2 quarterbacks that was like almost mirror image of each other, that's what I said. Watching that game, I was like,
it was a hell of a game.
I feel bad for these defenses because this is hard. It was a hell of a game. Josh Allen played his butt off, but you got to give it to him. I mean, he's still Josh Allen. I mean, you still want to see it, but again, I'm not blaming that one on him. I mean, the defense is depleted. Jalen took advantage of it. Y'all won the game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It just sometimes you just get beat. What the hell happened to the Lions? He can't lose. He can't win.
It was Thanksgiving.
He can't lose on Thanksgiving. All these wins, he gonna lose on Thanksgiving.
What was last Sunday on Thanksgiving? Serious question.
I was
come on, Lions. We've been pumping y'all up all season. And y'all gonna go out here and lay an egg against the Packers.
I was looking forward because this year, when you looked at the slate of games, with the exceptions of the Cowboys and the Commanders, when you looked at that 1:00 game,
none of them games was pretty competitive. 2 points.
And then the late game, I was like, listen. We got division rival. We gonna have some good football.
Word.
Trash.
Look. Like I said, I don't know why everybody's giving Dallas all these props of beating Washington. That's exactly what should have happened, especially when you give them pass rushers in the middle of the season. So we know Ron is pretty much gone. They tanking. They basically I just hope Sam Howell survives the season. That's all I hope. I don't even really like. I like him because he's my fantasy team, but I just don't want to see anybody just like get punished.
Throwing a quarterback.
Destroyed.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's actually pretty good, and I think once they get him some stuff, a better offensive line. But anyway, and then Seattle, that game started out okay, and then next thing you know, freaking train just coming down the freaking San Francisco train just running right through Seattle. I was like, this is ugly. And then I was very surprised. I wasn't surprised, but I was very proud of the fact that we went out there and made the Jets defense actually look average. I was like, the damn Dolphins out here playing some football today. Look at this. I was like, look at them. I was like, all right, Black Friday. Maybe we need to play on Friday more often. Let's do this. Line us up. We'll play on Friday with Colorado. Let's do it.
I'm not doing this year. I didn't even watch that game.
I watched it. First of all, it came on in the middle of the day.
You're a Dolphins fan.
It came on in the middle of the day. I watched it because anytime you have your team on a primetime game or a game where they're isolated, you only ask for one thing. Rod will tell you this. You only just ask for one thing. Even if you don't win, just don't get embarrassed.
I was about to say, don't get out there.
I just don't want people to talk about. Like, we can talk about them losing. don't go out here and get beat by 30 points. You know what I'm saying? So then when they lost to the Chiefs, I was like, you're losing. I said, but make the game respectable. They came back. They made it respectable. I was like, okay, all right, we can take the criticism. We're not good enough yet, or whatever. Don't go out here and get boat race. You know what I'm saying? On a Friday afternoon and everybody on a Sunday or Thursday night, get boat race.
Honestly, I was just in protest. I refuse to watch another game with the Jets or the Giants this season. I just won't. I refuse.
Yeah, it was really bad because they put that new guy in there and it didn't make any difference for the Jets. That team, they're done. That team was so bad.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers needs to cut that crap out.
And let me just say, the only two games I'm going to subject myself to with the Giants are the two that they got with the Eagles because we haven't played them yet. Mm-hmm. So we played them twice. We got 2 times to play them this year. I will watch that. But other than that, I refuse. If it's a nationally tough, I refuse. I'm find somebody else to do it. I'm not watching nothing else with the Jets or Giants. And so I was like, well, this Miami Jets game might end up being good, but I won't see it. I refuse. They can't get no more of my time this year. I'm reclaiming my time.
It was good early, but then Dolphins started figuring out some things, and then the Dolphins. Here's the key, and I'll just say this about my team, and this is what I was trying to say before. Everybody continue to talk about the offense. You know, we got the 70 and all this stuff. Jalen Ramsey's back. He's making a big difference on that defense right now because we can play man and actually go after people. But we did lose our second best pass rusher. He's out for the season with Achilles, Phillips. So I don't know.
I was gonna say, ooh, okay.
Yeah, the kid number 15 from Miami, out of University of Miami. He tore his Achilles. Because they talked about somebody. We're trying to sign. Was it Pierre Paul? Jason Pierre Paul?
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to bring him back for like basically BR Von Miller and try to bring him in for about.
He's not retired. Is that bad that I don't know that?
Well, the thing about it is, I don't think he did officially retire. I think he just wanted to team. Yeah, but they're trying to get him on the roster to replace him. But Jalen Ramsey and Howard out there making a big difference. I'm ready to play Buffalo again because now we got Jalen. Like we got our guys in the back to make plays. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but real quick, since you didn't see the game. The Dolphins Jets had one of the most bizarre plays in the history of football. So
I did see that highlight.
You see that, Beth? Only the Jets.
Only the Jets. And that play right there, is why I refuse to watch any more games with the Jets.
You know
that play right there is why I won't do it.
Don't throw it to the other team. This is the only way they can win this game if you throw it to the other team. Man, they threw that ball on that Hail Mary. Holland caught that ball and ran it back. I was laying on the floor. I could not stop laughing. I was like, the Jets are horrible.
And that's like I said, and this is why I absolutely refuse to watch any more games with the Jets because that play right there is indicative of their season. And I was like, oh, y'all got to find somebody else to do it. Because here's what I'm not doing. I'm just not. I'm not doing it.
Speaking of bad offenses, I guess we need to wait another week for the Steelers to get better. I mean, like, they won again.
Hey, listen. The Steelers, for the first time in like 4 years.
Well, they had like 400 yards or something like that, they said.
But they put up 400 yards in offense. So, shout out to the
Right. Hey, man.
Shout out to the Steelers. I don't know. I was like, they put up 16 points and they put up 400 yards, which again, that's the first time they've done that like 4 seasons. I feel like that's a victory.
Yeah, I mean, they won the game, so it's all good. But I mean, I guess now with some of these injuries and some of these players, I mean, now you got to look at certain teams now. Like I said, with Jacksonville won again, so now everybody's talking about them again. And I didn't even realize the Colts were in the playoff hunt. They was talking about that today, but they lost. They about to lose Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor's out because he had surgery.
He had a thumb surgery or something, right? So they about to lose him. But Zach Moss is pretty good. He's okay. He's not Jonathan Taylor, but he's decent. But I didn't realize the Colts had won enough games. They're actually in the hunt. I was like, wait a minute. The Colts in the hunt.
Yeah,
Okay.
Gardner Minshew is getting that Minshew magic
Ain't
popping.
he? Ain't
He's getting that Minshew magic popping.
Shoot, man. So they're in the hunt. And quiet as
sadly, it is not translating to fantasy points for me.
But quiet as kept. I mean, maybe Sean Payton saw a couple of our episodes, boy, because there's responsibility, accountability, and the truth. Freaking Broncos out here trying to make freaking history, right?
Listen, balling essentially.
And it ain't, are they winning, scoring 30, 40 points? No, but you win the football games. It's almost like the Texans are probably doing more than what they should be doing, and the Broncos are like, look, we ain't got much, but we gonna stretch this thing. We gonna win. We gonna do as much as we can with what we can, and give Russell. I told people Russell Wilson wasn't playing bad. Man, we got like what 20 touchdowns and 4 picks or something. 5 picks. It's not like he's playing bad football or something. Like
he's not, and that's what I kept saying. I was like, he's not playing bad football, but he was. But again, at the beginning of the season, it was the defense that was letting him down.
Right. And now they're actually playing to the level of what we thought they could play. Not shut down, but comparable football. Like just don't give up, 50 points. Just give me around 20-ish and I might do something with that. Like kind of thing. But no, the Broncos are balling. They playing some good football. I give them that.
They've been playing complimentary football right now. And
Molly Crum gave Peyton a copy of the episode. So.
What you said? Probably so. I'll give them that.
Listen, because that's what we needed out there in Denver: accountability,
responsibility, and truth. I mean, let's be real.
It needed to happen because after that 70-point loss, that was rough. Not 70-point loss, 50-point loss. I'm sorry.
That was rough though. Yeah, you definitely don't. That was rough. That was
bad. Look, that's a bad day at the office. That's a bad day at the office.
Hey, not to switch subjects, but you saw us put a 44-point win on the Lakers the other day. The Sixers.
I did. I did. Look, it warms me right up in here in my heart.
You got two guys going for 30. Maxey had 31 and 8, and MB had a triple double.
Yeah. So what y'all telling me is y'all gonna be the number 1 seed in the East? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't even want to be the number 1 seed. I just want to win. I think Boston is probably collectively still a little better, but it ain't that far off than what people thought. We are not like you. Here's my point. In any given game, if we're gonna go to basketball, this is what I keep telling everybody. Got players, Jason Tatum, Maxey, all of that. In any given game, if Embiid plays to the level that he plays to, he's always going to be the best player on the court. There's no question about it. In my opinion, he can handle Giannis. He can handle Jokic. He's like there's other teams that look at Giannis and Jokic and go, ooh, Embiid doesn't flinch. So when he's playing his A game, they are looking at Embiid going, that's the MVP of the league. We got to handle him. And so if Embiid's going to put up 31, 11, and 11, I like my chances. But the key is he's got to be healthy, and he's got to make it through. He's got to make it through every game with a certain level of health, and that's always been the key. He's always gets nicked up. That's it. Yeah, we can be the 1 seed, but it's 1 seed.
And again, I don't even need to be the 1 seed. But what I need to do is get out of the divisional round.
But that's my point. My point is by the time we make it there, he gets nicked up. I'm just hoping for a little luck this year. I mean, and we can't
or if we could just get him a nutritionist to get his big ass in shape.
But a couple of his injuries have been fluke now. Number one, the injury with Siakam, that was fluke. That was a very fluke injury. The ones before that was probably health. He was probably too fat. The one last year, maybe a combination of a fluke, maybe some health or whatever, because health always comes with recovery time too. Like if you're in decent shape, most people can recover from certain injuries a little faster. But that's it, Rod. I mean, bottom line is, we have a good enough team to win it. I don't have the question in my mind. Batoon has been awesome defensively. He's been hitting threes, all the weapons. I'm all in. I mean, there's no, like you said, Lanice, but you just sit back and wait for that, first round in. wait for the second round. I mean, and
right. Like I need us to get out to I need to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I personally need to be in the finals. I need to have a reason to be watching basketball in June. I want to have it. I really do, and not just the Aces, by the way. I mean, I watch the Aces anyway. But
bro, I'm trying to find tickets to go to the banner ceremony.
Shoot, I'm with you on that. I told my wife, I was like, I'm gonna make it to Vegas next year for a game. I'm gonna go ahead and find me some tickets. Cause I tried, yeah, but nah. I mean, we'll be all right. The Sixers will be okay. I want to know what's going to go on. Did you see Drake? Now look, let's clear this up. Cause I went back and looked at that video, and I know what y'all saying. And I'm not gonna agree or disagree with Draymond doing what he did, ride or die, all that stuff. But obviously, he doesn't get it.
I heard his interview.
Obviously, he does, and I'm not even disagreeing with some aspects of saying, you know, man, don't look at what I've done in the past and everything. But my point is, you know, that's what they're gonna do. You know, that's what's gonna happen, regardless.
That's what they did last year when he got suspended,
and that's what they're gonna continue to do. It just, it's not, you know, it is what it is, and it's kind of like. Look, you know what? It is what it is. It comes with the process. That's, you know, you take it. Nobody would never take Draymond Green on their team. He's the type of player he is and the type of person he is. You definitely want him backing you up. All I'm saying is that there are certain times where you don't have to go so far. And no one ever believed that he was choking Rudy Gobert to the point where he was hurting him and all of that stuff. Because you know what it looks like when you're actually getting choked and hurting. And Draymond ain't a small guy. He could have really hurt Gobert if he really wanted to. So nobody.
Gobert was tapping out. He was tapping out.
Well, but my point is that I don't think anytime, I'll put it this way, anytime somebody.
But that's just who Rudy is. He gonna always tap out. Right?
But my point is this. Like I said to you, if you want to get real about it, the fact that he went behind Rudy Gobert, one could make a point to say, I ain't gonna say that's a punk move, but I get why you went behind him, because you was trying to make sure he ain't get on Clay. But my point is, at the end of the day, no matter what Draymond does, if he does something out of the box, they're going to suspend him. He has created a situation that's just going to happen. I mean,
right. And I can't. Therefore,
I got nothing for him.
You have to be mindful.
That's exactly. Pick and choose your spots. And I'm just like, you know, and it is what it is. Unfortunately, and I will say this point, unfortunately, we continue to look at sports like it's real life. I'm like, guys, you're playing a basketball game. You get paid a lot of money and you want to fight. Okay. I guess. Like, Like, I ain't telling you not to fight, but, you know, when they talk about, oh, everybody else should have fought. For what? We getting paid. Why y'all? I'm over here like, I'll fight it. Okay, let's fight. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? We are millionaires. Why are we fighting? Because we're millionaires. Like, that's what I would be. I would be in the fight, but I'd be sitting all the time. Look, niece, I'd be holding like, hey, you all right? Why are we fighting? We're millionaires. Like,
because they got to stand on business. They got to stand on business.
You know, like, I'm conflicted. Like, even now, right? We all got decent jobs and everything. I'm not getting no damn fight just because my boy fighting. Tell his ass stop fighting, because I don't want to stop.
I hate you.
Stop fighting, because I don't. You gonna keep? Damn it! Now I gotta come over there. Somebody cut the camera off. I gotta go fight.
But to be clear, standing on business didn't work out for him. So standing on business didn't work out for him.
It's all good, man. I saw that press conference, man. He should have, like I said, sometimes you just need to be like, you know what? I choked him. I got fined. Let's move on. Because that would have been me. That would have been me with these. I'd have been like, look, I choked him. He ran that Clay. I choked him. I got 5 games. Let's move on.
Right. He grabbed Clay. I grabbed him.
Hey, I mean, you know, so it's all good. Shoot, man.
That fool said I gotta stand on business. I cannot. We're not. Oh God.
You're a fool. I was just saying, man.
No, that little boy is a fool. What is wrong with him?
What you say?
I said, no, that little boy is a fool. What is wrong with him?
No, I don't know.
Like, sir. Because everybody was like, I can't believe T.I. choked out his son. I can.
Right.
I'm saying though.
You don't get to push your mama and
nah, you know that's
in no walk of life.
Yeah, there's certain lines in real life. There's certain lines in real life. I don't care if you're celebrity, millionaire or not. You don't do that.
Right. You don't get to push your mama. I was like, but here was my question, because I said, personally, I wanted to know what took T.I. so long to get to him, because he was real reckless about the mouthpiece before he ever pushed Tiny. But then when he pushed Tiny, I was like, well, this is going to end badly.
Yeah,
it's going to end badly.
It's certain things that just, yeah.
You don't get to lay hands on your mama and not think there's going to be consequences and repercussions.
I mean, most of we pretty much come from old school. I mean, you know, me and my mom, you know, we've had our differences and everything, but I would, if I ever had considered doing anything like that, I mean, I hope I had all of my stuff in order, because I probably wouldn't.
Right.
Listen.
You know, like, okay, I'm about to do this. This is pretty much it, y'all. So, you know, like if I'm crazy enough to do this, this is it. Like, it's
right.
done.
Right.
Something's going to happen. I don't know who's going to get me, but somebody's going to get me.
Mom finished.
What you say, Ryan?
My dad would have to get whatever was left of me once my mom finished.
So, right.
That's the other part of the equation. Some people's mamas you don't want to mess with, because you get
exactly.
Listen, as the old folks say, there was going to be some slow singing and flower breaking.
Flower breaking. Okay. My mama was the only girl with 3 boys too? No.
Yeah. No, listen. There was going to be some slow singing and flower bringing up in there.
Yeah,
but I was just like, I said, oh yeah. But apparently, I don't do reality television, but apparently this little boy, their son, he's reckless all the time. Like, people were like, we've been waiting for T.I. to jump on him. I was like, oh God.
Okay. Yeah.
So
entertainment. Just real quick though. There was a lot of discussion tonight around them Florida State Seminoles being number 4 in the college rankings. And the funny thing about it was, and I think I'm getting to the point. 4? I think they're number 4. So it was it's Georgia, Michigan. Hold up, Georgia, Michigan, Washington,
and then Florida State.
And Florida State, right? Florida State was 4, Washington was 3. Yeah, Michigan was 2, Georgia was 1. Ohio State's 5, Oregon is 6, and Alabama, somebody's 7. Texas is 7, Alabama's 8, I think. I think I'm starting it. I think I've officially have started my dislike of Kurt Herbstreit. I think I'm officially there.
What Herbstreit did you?
The bottom line is this.
What took you so long?
I don't know. But it's amazing to me. Okay, first of all, everything that we talk about with rankings or anything, it's all subjective, right? You can sit here and claim that there's objective here, objectiveness there. You got a bunch of decent football teams with certain 1 losses. Some don't have any losses. 1 loss is star quarterback, but they still won a game. This team has a star quarterback, didn't play well, but found a way to win a game. You know, this team over here in allegations of being, you know, on probation because of sign stealing, but they winning games with their backup coach. Like, you got all these different variables going on, and you got a bunch of people, humans, picking the 4 teams and ranking them. And so you get this whole thing, and then it always falls back, and then they're like, well, Florida State found a way to still be good enough to win a game. No, they're not going to look like the same team, but they're still a good football team. I was like, yeah, they're undefeated. So give them their due. Right.
And last week,
beat Louisville.
And the only reason they took us out of the rankings last week is because we had lost our starting quarterback, because we still hadn't lost the game. That's the only reason.
And now you got a team that, right, because Ohio State and Michigan had to knock each other off. One had to go.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. And then and now you're going to expect the same thing with Oregon and Washington, right? So whoever wins that, they're probably going to say Oregon goes up or whatever, Washington. But Kirk comes up here and goes, well, to me, I think it still should be the 4 best teams. And we all know that Alabama and these teams, they're the best teams. I'm like, who knows that? I don't know that. Who's the 4 best teams?
But how do we know Alabama is the best team? Doesn't Alabama
But that's
have
my
some
point.
losses?
I'm like, you can't just look at a team relative to what they do, what they play, and they go, the eye test. Okay, the eye test is subjective to whoever's eye. Your eye test and my eye test might be different.
Because here's the thing. The record says they're not as good as those other teams.
But then they played it. My point is, this has been going on since the beginning of time. It's just a different ranking system, but it's still people picking the rankings.
Same thing.
So they basically said this. They could see a scenario. Even if Florida State, they said if Florida State wins, everybody says they're in. But then someone came back and said, but because of their fact that they don't have a starting quarterback and the fact that they'll beat Louisville, which will be a good win. But what if Alabama beats Georgia? Do you jump Alabama over Florida State because they beat Georgia? You see where I'm going with that? And I'm like, stop it. Just stop it.
Right.
You got to
they doing all they can to figure out
with it.
How to get Alabama in the playoffs every year, which is why they're going to the 16 playoff system so that they can make sure Alabama gets in every year.
And my point is, if you rank this team 4 and they win, it shouldn't matter what nobody else does. If they win, they're in. If Washington wins, they're in.
Right. Like, why do I care what anybody else does? Because my record is undefeated, and just because I don't have my starting quarterback anymore, clearly he's important, but we figured out how to win without him. Next man up.
Shout out to the South Carolina women's basketball team. You know, I'll get a plug in. They're doing like the ACC, SEC challenge with the men and women this year. So South Carolina is going. They playing at Chapel Hill, the women's team Thursday. But then I think they're staying that way, and then they play Duke on Sunday. And I'm actually gonna go to that game. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Get myself ready for this journey back to the South Cackalack.
All right. We will holler at y'all next time.
All right.
Y'all take care.